Hi, Phanessa here. In this video, we're going to make this lacy cardigan. This is a size 2T for a 2-year-old. So this is the size that I'll be making for this tutorial, but the instructions are going to be for an adult medium. If you're new around, please subscribe if you enjoy the video and click on the bell for notifications. So this is what it looks like. I haven't weaved in my ends or blocked it yet. So it's worked with a lacy stitch, and I have the band on here, and there's also a ribbing band at the bottom, but I did slightly different for the sleeves. So I used Lion Brand's Mandala. This is the colorway Pegasus, and I wasn't too happy with how the colors changed in the way that I constructed the cardigan. So what I did is I took it apart and I separated the colors so that I can pick and choose what I want to use for the cardigan. So that's what I'm going to be doing for this tutorial. I did use just a little bit over one ball for that first one, and it's sort of a medium. So this is a category 3, but I'm using a larger hook. So I'm using a USI 5.5 millimeter. So you'll also need a pair of scissors. Grab a row counter if you need, tapestry needle, and a few stitch markers. I like to mark my work instead of using the counter because I can't remember to click and count my counters when I'm working. So I'm going to start with this sort of coral color because there was more of these than these other colors. So I am going to leave timestamps in the description box because we are going to go over a lot of information and different steps. So you can hop around if you need to. And there's a link to the blog post, which has a chart for a standard sizing for women. So the first thing I did was decide how wide I want my back piece. So I wanted a medium, and I wanted quite a bit of ease. I decided it would be about 22 inches. So that's about 44 inches in circumference. So that's 6 inches of positive ease. And for the front, right and left, so it's about 8.5 on either side. And this pattern here is in multiples of 4 plus 1. So we're starting off with the ribbing. And each row of the ribbing is going to be 1 stitch when you work up this direction. So your ribbing has to be in multiples of 4 plus 1. So for this tutorial, I'm going to make a smaller sample of this cardigan. And I am going to make it short sleeves. So I'll explain how you can extend your sleeve. Okay, so I will be providing instructions for the size that I made here, which is 22 inches wide, and it's about 31 inches long when it's worn or hung up because it does have stretch. All right, let's get started. I used one size throughout the whole pattern. If you want, you can go one hook size down for the bands and the ribbing. So starting with a slip knot. So I chained 10, but here I'm going to chain 5 just for this tutorial. So that will determine the width of the band. We're starting from the bottom of the cardigan. So starting with the second chain from the hook, there's your first, there's your second. I'm going to turn it over and work through the back humps. Okay, so you're going to work 1 single crochet in every chain stitch across. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, last stitch. Again, this is just a sample, so you would have whatever size you want for your band. So that's one row, row 2, chain 1 and turn, Now we're going to work through the back loops of every stitch. So normally we work through both loops. This is the front loop and this is the back loop. So we're going to insert our hook through the back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So we're working our single crochets through the back loops. So that's 2 rows. So you're going to repeat row 2 until you have the desired size. So you want to make sure your total number of rows is in multiples of 4 plus 1. So what I did was work my ribbing until it was long enough for the 22 inches and back around for where I wanted to stop. So don't forget to leave enough space for the band. So if you plan on adding the band and you're planning to make it a different size, just make sure that you have enough room for that. For this sample, I'm going to have a total of 73 rows. Okay, so I have my 73 rows and I actually use my counter. Now we're going to work single crochets on the long edge of the band. So you want to chain 1. So right here in the first row, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So the next one is going to be this row, and you can see little V stitches on the edge. You're going to insert your hook through the V's on the top of that row. Here's the V right here. I'm going to insert my hook between, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So I had mentioned each row is going to be 1 stitch. So that's 1 row, 2 rows, and then the third row is going to be down here, and the fourth one is back up here. So for the next one, you're going to insert your hook through the top of that row, and you want to make sure that you grab 2 loops. And work your single crochet. Now we're on the row with the more visible stitches. Between the V right on top, so it's easier for you to see once I actually work the stitch. See, there's a V here, a V there, and then that's where I worked my single crochet. Now back down here, going through 2 loops to work your single crochet. Okay, so you're going to repeat working 1 single crochet in each row, and you should have the same number of single crochets as you do your number of rows. And again, it needs to be in multiples of 4 plus 1. The cardigan that I made, I had a total of 141 stitches. For this sample, I'm going to have a total of 73 stitches. Okay, I'm on the last row here. And my last single crochet. Okay, so now we're going to start on the body of the cardigan. Okay, row 1, I'm going to chain 5 and turn 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you feel like this is too lacy or the open work is too big for you, you can always chain 4 or chain 3. Just know that it'll look different. So right here, these are chain 5s. They're a little bit larger, and then you can't really tell the difference with the chain 4. It is slightly smaller, and then you can definitely tell that the chain 3 is even smaller. So you can see the difference in the chain stitches. But for this pattern, I'm just going to stay with chain 5. So into the same stitch as your chain, you want to work 1 single crochet. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now we're going to repeat. We're going to skip 3, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So skip 1, 2, 3. Into the 4th, you want to work 1 single crochet. Chain 5, 3, 4, 5. Skip 3, 1 single crochet. So go ahead and repeat. Chain 5, skip 3, 1 single crochet into the next. Okay, I'm at the end. You should end with 1 single crochet into the last stitch. So chain 5, skip 3, into the last stitch, 1 single crochet. So you want to find your middle stitch and just place a marker there. Row 2, chain 5, turn your work. Now we're going to work single crochets into the chain 5 space. 1 single crochet into the chain 5 space, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 single crochet into the next chain 5 space. So you're going to repeat that all the way across, chaining 5, working 1 single crochet into the chain 5 space. Okay, when you get to the end, you're going to chain 5 and work into this last chain 5 space. 1 single crochet. Alright, now you're going to repeat that last row, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn, and work 1 single crochet into the first chain 5 space. Chain 5, 1 single crochet into the chain 5 space. So you're going to repeat that last row until you're happy with the length of the cardigan, measuring from the underarm down. You want to work an even number of rows, so ending after a wrong side row. So it's really nice that you can just customize to the length that you'd like. I worked 30 rows for my cardigan. So I'm at the end of the 6th row, and I want to change colors, so I'm going to switch to this color here. I'm just going to cut my yarn. Okay, so I'm going to change the colors in my last stitch here, my last single crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook through that chain 5 space, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now right here I want to grab my new color, make a loop, place it on my hook, and then I'm going to complete the single crochet with the new color. And then I'm going to tie a knot, a couple of knots, just so that it's secure. Now I'm going to continue with the pattern, chain 5, so early on I had marked my middle stitch here, so you want to find your middle stitch and just place a marker there, and then what you'll do is fold it in. So according to the standards for a 2-year-old or a size 2 in child, the chest area is 21 inches. Earlier you calculated how wide you wanted your back piece, so fold panels over, getting as close as you can to that measurement. So this measures about 11 inches, and I stopped at 18 rows. It is about 9. When it's hanging, it's about 10, I believe, or 11. This isn't a pattern that I'm too concerned about as far as how well it's going to fit. It's meant to be loose and drapey, and basically just something to wrap yourself with in the summer. So to make sure you have an even number of stitches on both of these front panels, fold the panels and mark the sides here. So if you stopped after a wrong side row, you should be marking the center at the chain 5 space instead of the single crochet stitch that I did here. And then I count it from the middle out to make sure that it's an even number. So from here I'm counting the chain 5s, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then my marker's right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my marker is right here. So I'm happy with the way it looks and where I marked it. I'm going to now continue working the front. The armhole length for a size 2 in child is about 4.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to go back and forth until I have about 4.5 inches for the armhole length, so you'll stop at the shoulders. Don't forget that the chart does not include ease, so calculate ease into your armhole. So I'm going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5, and turn. Work my single crochet into the first chain 5 space. Chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next chain 5 space. 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next chain 5 space. So I'm going to stop right here, right before the marker. Since we don't work in the single crochets, I'm just going to stop at the chain 5 space right before the marker. Now we want to go back the other direction, just like we've been doing. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn. 1 single crochet in the first chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you want to chain 5, 1 single crochet in the next chain 5 space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, into the next chain 5 space, 1 single crochet, and my last chain 5, and then into the last chain 5 space here, 1 single crochet. So you're going to repeat back and forth until you have the length that you need for the armhole depth. Don't forget to look in the description box for the link. That'll take you to my blog and you will be able to access the chart. So I've worked 9 rows and that measures about 4.5 inches. So I'm happy with that. So you can fasten off and then reattach over here. I'm going to leave that because I have another ball here. So I want to keep it in the same direction. I'm going to start here. Since I started here on this side going this direction, I want to start here going in the same direction. So I'm going to make a slip knot. I attached it to the chain 5 space in this video. However, you want to fasten on at the single crochet stitch so that you have the same number of chain 5 space as you do on the other panel. This was a change I had to make to the pattern after recording this video. That's my single crochet. I'm going to chain 5 and then single crochet into the next chain 5 space, chain 5, single crochet into the next chain 5 space, 1, 2, 3, 4, chain 5, 1 single crochet into the next chain 5 space, chain 5, and then finally into the last chain 5 space. Okay, since I worked 9 rows on the other side, I want to make sure that I work 9 rows on this side. Chain 5 and turn. 1 single crochet in the first chain 5 space. Chain 5. One single crochet into the chain 5 space, chain 5. 1 single crochet into the chain 5 space, chain 5, and then into the last chain 5 space, 1 single crochet. So I'm going to continue that until I have 9 rows. Okay, so I've worked the front part. Now I just need to work the back part. I'm going to fasten on here this marker, and then I'm going to work across and stop before this marker. Okay, so the middle section will be here. Okay, again, make a slip knot. Place it on your hook. So right here to the right of this marker, insert your hook into that chain 5 space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now we're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5 into the next chain 5 space and continue across, just like we've been doing. Okay, so here's the other marker. I'm going to stop here to the left of that marker. Now the next row, chain 5, turn, and then we're going to work back this direction. Okay, we're going to work a total of 9 rows, and then we're going to seam the shoulders. So I've worked 9 rows of the back. I took the front piece, folded in, and then I attached it right here. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that on the other side. Let me just fasten off here. Okay, so now I'm going to attach this side to the back. So if you don't already have yarn attached, go ahead and fasten on the corner. So this is a single crochet. If you're starting at a loop, depending on when you stopped, then just go ahead and work a single crochet through the loop. So I'm going to insert my hook right through that single crochet, pull up a loop. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then on this end, I'm going to work 1 single crochet on the side loop here. Okay, now I'm going to chain 3. And then on this side, I'm going to work 1 single crochet into the chain 5 space. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now you're going back to the back side. So you're going to go in a sort of in a zigzag manner. 1, 2, 3. Now we're coming back to the front. Chain 5 space, working a single crochet, 1, 2, 3. Going to the back, chain 5 space, work 1 single crochet, chain 3, working 1 single crochet in the chain 5 space, 1, 2, 3. Okay, work a single crochet in the next chain 5 space back here. So I have one more loop in the front, 1, 2, 3, 1 single crochet in this last loop. We're going to end with a slip stitch into the very next single crochet. So this is my back. We worked in this chain 5 space, and then we chained 3 and worked into our last loop here, 1 single crochet, then chain 3 and slip stitch to the single crochet. So your piece should look like this. Now we're ready to work the sleeves. Now I'm going to make a short sleeve version, but if you want a long sleeve version, you just need to keep going until you're happy with the length. Let's start on the sleeve. So I would fasten on at the bottom. So remember, you placed a marker on the side, on each side, here and here. So we're going to start there. Work your slip knot, attach your yarn. You want to fasten on in the chain 5 space, chain 1, and then work 1 single crochet in the chain 5 space. So we've attached with a single crochet. We're going to chain 5 and work 1 single crochet into the next chain 5 space. Chain 5 into the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the next space here. Single crochet, and we're going to repeat this all the way around the armhole. So this is my last single crochet into the loop. Now I'm going to start my row 2 right into the first chain 5 space. So we're going to be working in a continuous round, and you can mark it if you haven't where your first round is. So we're just going to continue on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not going to join, we're just going right into the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the next chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you want to continue working in the round, in a continuous round, chaining 5, working 1 single crochet in every chain 5 space. Now this is where you will work until you're happy with the size of your sleeve. So you're going to repeat that until you have the length that you want for the sleeves, and just keep in mind that if you're going to add ribbing to match this down here, then you'll just have to consider the width of that when you're calculating how long you want your sleeve. Again, there's a standard chart for sizing. So what I'm going to do is change it up after 3 rounds. So I'm going to decrease the number of chain stitches I have after 3 rounds. Okay, so I'm on my 3rd round. Here's my stitch marker to mark the beginning of my work. So this one will be my 4th round. So I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 into the chain 5 space, 1 single crochet, chain 4 into the next chain 5 space, 1 single crochet, and then chain 4. So the only thing you're changing is the number of chain stitches that you're working into the space from the previous round. And I'm going to work 2 rounds of the chain 4s, and then I'm going to start working my rounds with just 3 chains. And you can choose and adjust and customize to whatever you like. You can keep it at chain 5 throughout the whole sleeve if you like. So really it's up to you. I'm actually just making it up as I go for this one, which is similar to what I did for the first one. So I'm at the beginning of the round. I'm going to work 1 more round of just chain 4. So I've worked 2 rounds with just 4 chains in each of these chain stitches. And you can move your stitch marker up as you work. I just left mine down here. So now I'm going to start working my rounds with just 3 chains. 1, 2, 3 into the chain space. 1, 2, 3 into the next chain space. 1, 2, 3 into the next. So I'm probably going to work 2 or 3 rounds Again, I'm just making things up as I go, so we'll see what it looks like. So I've worked 2 rounds, working the 3 chains. Okay, so now we can close up the round. So this is the beginning of my round. I placed a marker here just so you could see what I'm doing. And I just worked into this chain 3. Now I'm going to chain 3. Instead of continuing to work your single crochets, you just work a slip stitch into the next chain space. Again, you can keep going if you want a long sleeve. For this one, I'm just going to leave it as a short sleeve. Okay, now you just repeat for this side. So slip knot, so fasten on. So we're going to chain 5, 3, 4, 5. Work your first single crochet here in the chain 5 space. Chain 5, work your next single crochet in the next chain space. So I'm just going to repeat what I did for the other sleeve. But what I like to do is make sure that I have the same amount of loops as the other sleeve. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 loops before I continue into round 2. So it's always good to check to make sure that you're on the right track. So I'm going to work 3 rounds with the 5 chains, and then I'm going to work 2 rounds with the 4 chains, and then for the 3 chains I'm going to also work 2 rounds. Now we're ready to add the band. You can choose to match the ribbing from here, or you could just finish off with 1 row of single crochet. Just take 1 corner. So you can see the stitches here. We're going to insert our hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, and the next 2 stitches. So we've got 5 single crochets along here. Now we're going to work alongside the lace. So what I like to do is work 1 single crochet into the single crochet stitch, and then right here on the chains I like to work 3 single crochets and then 1 single crochet into the single crochet here. So 1, oops, 2, 3. 1 single crochet into the single crochet stitch. So this actually slides if you need to. So 3 single crochets into the chain space, and then 1 single crochet into the single crochet stitch. So if you look here, it's 3 single crochets and 1 here. I'm going to try and keep my color the same. It just drives me nuts. So continue working your single crochets all the way to the other end. I'm changing colors because I want them to match. I am on my last stitch. So I worked single crochets along the front, around the neck, and to the other side. Now I'm going to add the band. Again, you can customize this however you want. You can just continue with single crochets if you like. So you want to chain as many chain stitches as you want for the width that you want. For this one, I'm just going to work the same amount of stitches as I did this one. So I chained 5 and ended with 4 stitches for the ribbing down here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Turn your work. In the second chain from the hook, here's the first, there's the second. So working through the humps, we're going to insert our hook. So into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. So that's 1 single crochet. Now you have 3 more single crochets to work. 1, 2, and the last one, 3. Okay, so now we're going to look at our stitches. So we're skipping the first one because we worked our chain stitches here. Into the second or the next stitch, you want to work a slip stitch. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through the loop on your hook. Now you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through. Now I'm going to turn my work. So I want to make sure that I don't work into the first 2 stitches here. Those are the 2 slip stitches. So I want to work in the stitch next to that. So I know that I have 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first 2 are the slip stitches. And we're going to work through the back loops. So this is the back loop, and this is the front loop. We're working through just the back loop. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet in every stitch across, working in the back loops. Chain 1, turn, 1 single crochet into every stitch through the back loops. In my case, I have 4. Okay, so this could look a little tricky because this stitch here looks like it's available, but it's actually the one that we worked into from the last row. So into the next stitch, work a slip stitch, and the next stitch, work a slip stitch, turn, and then continue back and forth. So you just want to repeat that all the way around the front. Alright, so here is the finished cardigan. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe for future videos. I'll see you next time.